Hi friends, welcome to my channel Simple Learning Tips. So in today's video, we'll be discussing forms of dispute or we'll be discussing types of industrial dispute, outcomes of industrial dispute and settlement of industrial dispute. Okay. So without much further ado, let's move on to today's topic. First one is types of industrial dispute. So to know what is in detail, what is industrial dispute or what are the various causes of industrial dispute, I've already covered a video on that, a detailed video. So I'll leave the link in the iCard as well as in the description box. So it will be easy for you. Please check that video first so that you will have a better understanding of what is industrial dispute, everything. And then you can move forward to this video. Okay. Because I don't want to repeat the content again. So that is why I'm starting with types of industrial dispute, hoping that you know what is an industrial dispute. Okay. So first one in this interest dispute. Now this dispute is otherwise known as economic dispute. And why? Because this kind of dispute, okay, dispute means basically conflict. It happens because the employees or the workers they want to improve the wages, their benefits, and to ensure that they have job security, or if they want to improve the job or working conditions, the terms of employment. So then this kind of dispute happens, and mostly it should be settled through conciliation. That means through some kind of mediation. Okay, so that is how it is solved. For example, if workers want a 10% increase in their wages, so there is a dispute. Now, this has to be solved, and some kind of mediation will take place between the management and the workers or the worker representative, and then they resolve the issue. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Next, let's move on to the next topic, that is grievance disputes or rights disputes. Now, this is also otherwise known as legal dispute. Okay, now what this kind of dispute is, it is a protest. Okay, and who protest? Obviously workers will protest against management when their rights are denied. Okay, see, similarly when in your house they have promised you something, your parents have promised you something and they are not giving it to you, definitely we will protest, right? They promised that if you score this marks, okay, and you are getting a mobile but you did not get that, so you will protest. So same way in an organization, when people with different characters they work, different attitudes, values, beliefs, when they work together, conflict will happen. So this particular grievance disputes, it happens when a worker's right is denied. Now, this right can be, working hours. You're overloading the workers. Okay. They are coming at 8 o'clock and then they are leaving by, 10 o'clock by night. So that is working hours. Okay. Because the production has to increase. So might be because the management is expecting workers to work more. Then, and if they are working more also, they are not being paid for overtime. Okay, so all these things can lead to grievance dispute. Then, not giving their fringe benefits, like, pay any kind of paid vacation or anything like that. Fringe benefits means other than salary, whatever benefits are being provided. Then overtime, like I said. Then promotions, demotions, okay, seniority. Seniority means, I'll just give a small example. In case of promotion, if both of them have the same kind of service in some companies, let's say they have 28 years of service in a company and a promotion is being given. So there are two employees and they both have scored the same marks, or they are performing equally. They both have got good, performance review. So what you will do? Sometimes in some companies, their date of birth will be considered. Okay, age-wise, who is senior, he will be getting that. But this can lead to dispute. Okay, sometimes what they will say is that, okay, the younger person uh, might be working better because of his attitude or something like that. So then there comes a seniority dispute. Okay, so because of seniority dispute, there can be a grievance dispute, safety and health related problems. Okay, all these can lead to grievance dispute. Now, mostly in this kind of dispute, voluntary arbitration is encouraged. And what is voluntary arbitration? We will be seeing in this future video. Now, example of grievance disputes is, you can say, nepotism. Even in Bollywood, nepotism is happening. And everywhere, it's not the problem in Bollywood just because it gets more attention. But in all the organization all over the world, some kind of nepotism happens. Okay. So that could lead to grievance disputes. Excessive workload, favoritism. Okay. And your favoritism in the sense that sometimes, you give less work to the person whom you like and you overload the other person whom you don't like. And still, while doing the performance review, the person who is favorite to the management, they will be getting more marks, okay? Or they will be getting more increments. So again, that leads to lack of transparency in promotion or increment. That can also cause to grievance dispute. If there is any leave discrepancy, means, the paid leave, sick leave, casual leave, if there is any kind of discrepancy in that, that can lead to grievance dispute. Then any kind of discrimination based on caste, religion, or anything, gender, anything, that can also lead to grievance dispute. So I hope it is clear what is grievance dispute. Next, let's move on to unfair practices in industrial relation. Okay. Now, this is most common kind of dispute, and that is labor dispute. Now, how this happens? This happens when, the management, they discriminate their workers when they participate in any kind of union activity. Okay. If the workers, the workers can participate in union activity. Okay. If they want to join a meeting conducted by the unions, they can definitely go, despite the fact that their working hours should not be affected, their working should not be affected. They can participate. Okay. It is their right. But when management does not encourage this kind of union activity, that leads to labor disputes. And this is one of the most common disputes in any kind of factory. Also, the denial of bargaining, if their bargaining power is denied. And, when workers go for strike, in order to complete the work, they hire new workers. Okay. And also, sometimes it can lead to some kind of violence. And if the bargaining or if any kind of protest, it goes beyond a certain level, what management will do is that sometimes they will stop all communication of any sorts. Okay. So all this can lead to labor disputes. Now, this is mostly settled through conciliation or, procedures, or there are certain procedures that are laid under Industrial Dispute Act. So mostly it is resolved through that. Now, I just want to give a small example. I don't know how many of you have Netflix login, and in that there is a series, Superstore, and it's not like such a great series and all. And because I was in my having corona and I just wanted to have some distraction, so I was watching that series. In that series, it is based on workers who are working in a supermarket. Okay. And in that, there comes a point where they want to form a union because they found out, the salary is different and some people are getting benefits, some are not. So to equalize that, they start to form union, but their management is not at all happy with that. And there comes a time when they go for strike, when the whole departmental store workers, they go for strike. What the management do is that in that series, okay, they hire new workers. And I'm just giving you an example to get the impact or to understand what is exactly this labor dispute means. Okay. So I hope it is clear. If you want, you can watch that series. It's not that bad, but it's not that good as well. This is just my personal opinion. Now, next is recognition dispute. Now, this happens, when trade unions are not recognized by the management for collective bargaining of salary or, representing an employee in any case of dispute. See, why trade union exists, because, if there are 1,000 workers in a factory or in a place in an organization, it's difficult. The 1,000 people has to go to the management and address that. Okay. So in order to avoid that, unions are formed representative of workers, employees are formed, okay? But when management denies the recognition of that trade union, recognition dispute happens. Or if they are not, encouraging the representative from unions for any kind of negotiation or any kind of collective bargaining, again, recognition dispute happens. Now, this also happens when there are multiple trade unions. Then it becomes management difficult for the management to give recognition to all the trade unions. Also, sometimes it happens when trade union does not have sufficient representative. Okay. Now, these kind of disputes, they are settled through guidelines provided by government for the recognition of trade unions. So, I hope it is clear. We will move on to that is, what are the outcomes of industrial dispute? Okay. Now, why industrial dispute is very essential? See, because whenever conflict happens, what will happen is that if it is not resolved or if it is not handled properly, things can go out of hand. And what happens when such things go out of hand? Okay. So what are the various outcome of industrial dispute? Now, majorly outcome of industrial disputes are, there are two major things. Okay. Strikes can happen and lockouts can happen. Now, under strikes, you have primary, secondary, and others. So, and under primary, you have, sorry, I've not included Garavo, that is also there. You have Garavo and picketing and boycott, stay away, strike. So I'll just explain everything. So one thing is that Garavo is there. So in Garavo, what happens is that, they actually forces the management to sit in one place, and the workers, when they are agitated, they won't allow the management to go outside. Literally, you are asking, you are standing around a person whom you have agitation towards, and you're not letting that person to move out until the demands are met. So this happens commonly. And if you see, you might have heard a lot of news where, a lot of district collectors or mayors or all, because their demands were not met, these kind of things happens, that they will round around this person, and unless the demands are not met, they will not allow to move that managers out. Okay. They'll restrict their movement, and also they will try to humiliate him. So all this happens during Garavo. Now, next one is picketing. Picketing, you all know, that is, signboards will be there, and and in the signboards they'll be writing like, you have to give the wage, or you have to increase the wage, or equal employment opportunities. So all this, whatever the demand is, that will be put on the signboards or placards and banners, and they will protest in front of the public or in front of the particular company. Now, the intention of this picketing is that you have maximum involvement of workers is required. Now, next one is boycott. Boycott means, you are interrupting the business operations, that is just walking on. Boycott, you're boycotting. Okay. So what we'll do is that the workers or the representative of workers, they will request other workers to temporarily not work, okay, or to temporarily not to cooperate with the management and contribute to the strike. That is boycott. Boycott means you pull away, you move away from the workstation and you participate in this kind of strike. Next is stay away strike. So as the name suggests, the workers, they form demonstrations, marches, rallies, etc. And all these things, they are staying away from the workplace. Okay, so stay away strike. Next one is pen down strike. This is also otherwise known as tools down or sit down strike. Now what happens here is that the workers, they will come to the workplace daily, and they use all the facilities available to them, but they will not work. They will simply sit, and they will not working. They will stop working, but they will come to the workplace and they will do everything. Okay, and they will even complete the working time, but they will not work. So that is, I think, a good form of protest if they want their demands to meet. This is just my simple opinion. Now, next one is token down strike or protest strike. Now, this means that workers, they are stopping their work for a certain period of time, and mostly it is 24 hours they are not working, so that a day's production will be affected. Okay, until their management is fulfilling their demands. Let's say they're going for 24 hours strike or maybe 1 week strike. Okay, so that is total strike. Lightning strike means, or cat call strike, it means that the workers, they will call off the work immediately. They will immediately announce that there is a strike, and usually when strike it is necessary. There are some conditions that at least 2 weeks notice or 1 week notice should be given. But during cat call or lightning strike, nothing is given. They will immediately inform that there is a strike, and they will not give any warning or information to the management. Okay. Now let's next one. Now next one is secondary kind of strike. Now this generally does not happen in India. Mostly it happens in US. That is go slow strike. Okay. So this is another kind of strike. I'm sorry, this is sympathy work. Another strike is that go slow strike. Okay, so I have not included some other strike also. It is also there. That are primary strikes. Okay, that is go slow strike. Go slow means they will come, but they will hamper the production by going slow. Okay, so all these strikes, by word meaning itself, you can understand. Next one, work to rule. Work to rule means whatever contract or whatever job rules are there, the employee will follow that particular rule, but any other additional task or any other thing mentioned in their agreement, they will not perform that. Okay, these are all various kinds of strike, but these are all primary strike. Next one is hunger strike or bhuk hartal, which you all know. What is that? That is workers till their demands are not met, they will go for fasting. Now next is the secondary strike. In secondary strike, this is what I was telling, that sympathy strike mostly it does not happen in US. It happens in it does not happen in India. I'm sorry, it happens in US. So mostly what happens is that they will influence someone who has good relations, trade union relations with the management, and they try to cause some kind of loss to the management, some kind of business losses to the management. Okay. And this third party, they does not have any kind of involvement in the strike. That is sympathy strike. Now next are some kind of other strikes that happens. That is general strike. General strike means instead of organization, the whole country or the state in which an organization is located, mostly they will go for a strike demanding for any kind of job permanent or, increase in pay, etc. like that. See, when this Agniveer happened, there were a lot of strikes and there were a lot of issues. So those kinds of general, strikes. Next one, political. Political means, if government has proposed any kind of act, again, it is the same example of Agniveer, on making any amendment to the working terms and conditions, and it is unaccepted by the workers, they go for protest. Okay. And this happens on a mass level. Particular strike, or this means that, protest against a particular person or an issue. Okay. Within a state, it could be within a state, within a city. Then Band means, you all will be knowing Bharat Band, because we'll get 1 day holiday, I would say. I really like it when there is 1 day holiday, but it is not at all encouraged, because it actually causes a lot of loss to the companies. And, it actually, some people, they might have been traveling and everything, so it all affects them as well. So that is not at all a good thing. It is because it is kind of a civil disobedience, and sometimes, it can cause to violence. You might have heard the stories of, throwing stones at the buses, railway rails, trains are being destroyed, and, they causes a lot of arson. So arson means, you're intentionally, you're purposefully destroying something. Okay. Sometimes you might heard that, a jeep is being burned or a building is being burned. So all these things can happen, and it is not at all encouraged. Okay. So these are all the various outcome of industrial disputes. So I'm saying that, this video has gone long. For rest of the thing, fulfillment of industrial disputes, I'll be covering it in my next video. Hopefully you like this video. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video and stay tuned for more videos like this. Thank you.